we know how to build what simple data stage job where we have used row generator and peak stage. So let us try to uh, recap of what was discussed. So we just looked at this architecture wise, we have opened designer client, admin client. Then after that we got into what login page where we supply host name, username, password and project. After that we could able to log on to the data stage client. Then we have seen now and we have created our own project. After that we could able to see all these tabs and each tab does its own what operation that anyway we are going to look at. And then next step is what we logged on to this designer client where we have built a simple job which contains a row generator and peak stage. So these are the two things that we kept it, two stages, and then we connected from what row generator to a peak to transfer the data from row generator to a peak stage. So that is what we have discussed over here. Then after that, what do we need to do? We need to know how to save this particular job, compile it, and then run this particular job. So that's what we need to do now. So let us do that. After that you can just go over here, run it and look at the results in the data stage directory client. So that's what we need to do. These are the steps that we follow, right, step by step. So setting global properties, adding metadata, we have built it. These two steps we have not done, so we need to do that. So that probably we'll do it in the next session, and then after that we are going to get into what good data stage stages, for example how to read the data from a sequential file and start getting the data transferred to some target or apply some business logic, all that we are going to take a look at from what the next session. So before that, let me just touch upon some theoretical parts before we get into full hands-on. So in data stage we have what different types of jobs, namely parallel jobs, job sequences, server jobs and mainframe jobs. I repeat, we have different types of jobs within the data stage. We have parallel jobs, job sequences, server jobs and mainframe jobs. So these are the different types of jobs we have. Out of them we started with what parallel jobs, where these are the jobs which will be used most widely because of what built-in parallelism techniques. Can you see here? These are the parallelism techniques that we have in the data stage, like pipelining parallelism and partitioning parallelism. These are the two types of parallelism techniques that we have within the data stage. And what do they do, which means what this pipeline partitioning does, what does this partitioning parallelism does. I'll talk about it in detail with examples. For now we can just remember that this guy supports what? Two types of parallelism techniques, namely pipelining and partitioning. Yeah. And then these particular jobs will be executed on a datastage server environment. Like if you look at this architecture, right, like as we discussed on last session, where we have what client server, underneath we have parallel engine, which means what? Parallel jobs means what? This type of jobs uses parallel engine. Yeah. So inside data stage server, what this parallel engine is going to get invoked. Yeah. After that, can you see here, once we have this what we call parallel job ready, then we can compile. So compile means what? Identify or fix syntax and semantic issues by using compilation. So once we fix it, output of compiled job will be stored in a separate form, which we call scripting form, which is scripting what language, which we call orchestrate shell script. 1 minute. Yeah. What session? Huh? Oh, sorry, I forgot. No, so tomorrow I can join. All right. Sorry. So, which means when you compile a job, output of that will be stored in some other form, which we call script, which is orchestrate shell script. So, where does it get stored? Again in the file system, which is under UV file system. Yeah? Now, once we do that, then anybody can execute this particular job. Yeah? So, which means ultimately we are going to execute what shell script or orchestrate shell script. That is what we do in the data stage. Yeah? And once we do that, we can run what this data stage job within the director client, or we can also run data stage job within the designer client. So we have what? Both the provisions. Yeah? And after running it, if you want to monitor like how many rows per second that are processed, all that, right? So that will be tracked by using what? Monitoring feature that we have in the data stage. Yeah? So similarly, we have other type of job, which is server job, which is a older one. So which means actual data stage started with server edition. After that, they moved to what? Parallel jobs because of merger with some other company. You know? So this is again, it is going to make use of data stage server environment, but when you compile, right, it is going to compile with a basic code, which is UV basic, universe basic programming language. You know? So once you compile that, then we can run this particular datastage job and monitor within the director client. That's what we do within this server jobs. Basic difference between this and parallel jobs, and this is what here we get parallelism benefits, here we don't get it that much. Then second, it will be converted to orchestrate shell script format, which is like a unit scripting, but here it will be converted to basic code when you compile. Then here also we use same director to run datastage job. Here also we use same datastage director to run and also monitor datastage jobs in both. Yeah. So which means what? Director client and designer client both will be same for both types of jobs. Only thing is the environment will be different. This is a parallel edition, this is server edition. That's it. Yeah. Now we also have other types of jobs, which is what mainframe jobs, which require separate license anyway. This also requires server license, this requires parallel license. Yeah. So in case if you want to execute datastage jobs where we need to deal with mainframe, then we go with what? Mainframe jobs, or else this is not required. Yeah. So when you execute it, right, it is going to execute a mainframe environment, not within the datastage environment. Yeah. Now in this particular training program, we are going to focus on parallel jobs and job sequences, because this is a more than 99% of the customers, they are into this particular two types of jobs. One, parallelism. Second, what you call parallel individual jobs, you can build it here because we have parallelism benefits. And second, job sequence is what is a type of job which will be used to connect set of jobs, you know, or we can say that job sequence what, like a batch jobs or controlling jobs, you know. So where we can now connect n number of jobs, and then we can, once we connect, right, we can start getting them executed. Yeah. So that's where what job sequences would come in. Can you see here? So we have what? Master jobs, which is what? Job sequence. Within that you will have our parallel jobs, which is what we call child jobs. Yeah. Can you see here? Can kick off server or parallel jobs, which means within a master we are going to run parallel jobs, and then once we run, then we can monitor even job sequence also within the datastage director. So directory will be used to monitor parallel jobs, server jobs, and also sequence. So within each sequence you will have n number of parallel jobs, right? So each job also can be monitored over here. So first build individual jobs here, then connect all of them and create a batch job or job sequence we call. That's it. So these are the different types of jobs that we have within the data stage. Yeah? So once we understand different types of jobs, then the next step is going to be what? We need to start getting into what how we can start performing practical activities. That we could do it from tomorrow's session. Yeah? So we'll get into the pure hands-on sessions from tomorrow, so that we can go a bit faster, because practical sessions, right, it will be more interactive also. Fine, Anish and Gopal and others. Yeah, we'll have session tomorrow 7 a.m. Anish, and evening. We'll have morning and evening. Yeah, I hope you are okay with that, right? Okay then. Yeah.